What is the biggest unsolved mystery in human history? An active one in the archaeology world is the exact time frame of when humans made it to the Americas. The date keeps getting pushed back with more controversial discoveries that then just turn to evidence as they pile up. It's a fascinating story to see unfold. We like to think we understand the universe and that physics is a well-grounded discipline. And in some ways it is. However, we have no idea what dark matter or dark energy is, and yet we think it makes up 27% and 68% of the universe respectively. In Australia, in 2011, someone broke into a TV station and spent 4 hours flushing $100,000 down the toilet. So the monarch butterfly migrates to Mexico and back every year. During the year there are a full 4 generations of butterflies that live and die during the journey. Upon returning back from Mexico, the butterfly manages to find the same trees its relatives started out at despite never having been there. The final words of the Emperor Titus were, "I have but one regret." We don't know and never will what that regret was. Edit. On reflection it's even better, I have made but one mistake. Supreme confidence. Late to the party, but I haven't seen anyone mention the Indus Valley Script. There was a huge civilization in northern India around 33,001,300 BC. It spanned more area than any other civilization at the time. They invented writing independently, something only done 56 times in history. But to this day, with all the thousands of inscriptions we have and all the documented contact with other civilizations, we haven't deciphered their writing. There's no known Rosetta Stone, no known descendant scripts, no known documentation of the language other than what is written in the Indus Valley Script. But the biggest mystery isn't how to read the script or what it says, but the question of whether we'll ever be able to know. Is it even possible to decipher a language we know absolutely nothing about? That most of human history is undocumented and we will never know our entire history as a species. We didn't start recording our history until 5000 BCE. We do know we shifted to agrarian societies around 10,000 BCE, but beyond that we have no idea what we were like as a species. We will never know the undocumented parts of our history that spans tens of thousands of years. We are often baffled by the technological progress of our ancient ancestors, like those in Asia who must have been masters of the sea to have colonized the variety of islands there and sailed vast stretches of ocean to land on Australia and New Zealand. What is ironic is we currently have an immense amount of information about our world today and the limited documented history of our early days as a species, but that is only a small fraction of our entire history. Why is there something rather than nothing? Is still pretty much at IMHO. Maybe the question of how many things are in our oceans that we did not discover yet. The sea is hella scary to me. And not because of the water. I don't know about biggest, but I always thought the Voynich manuscript was very interesting. A huge book written in an unknown language or cipher that has never been translated or decoded, with diagrams of plant species that don't exist, lots of theories surrounding it, but no definitive answers as to the origins or the content. Neither medicine nor science has an answer for what consciousness is, or where it originates. Not sure if it's the biggest mystery, but the Antikythera mechanism is pretty wild. Dated to at least 60 BC, possibly as old as 200 BC. It's as complex as clockworks that didn't show up until the 1400s. Over a millennium later. It's just such a strange technological anomaly. Who made it? What else did they make, and why haven't we found more stuff as advanced? I love unsolved mysteries, but one that always gets me is the murder of Missy Bevers. She was killed in the early morning at a church that she taught yoga at. Security footage from the church showed the murderer roaming the halls of the church all night, but that's not what's weird. What's weird is that the murderer was dressed head to toe in police riot gear. It is the weirdest and eeriest video footage and is just unsettling. There's lots of theories, but her murder has never been solved, and I believe there hasn't even been a real suspect in the case. So I have a personal experience. Sort of. My father had a coworker who was a great guy, good at his work, fun to talk to. Nobody had any complaints about him. He lived in an apartment right next to work, so the night watchman at the workplace would see him whenever he went out. So one night, he went out in his pajamas, talking on his cell phone, nodded at the watchman. The watchman didn't think much of it. After all, it's not all that weird to take a walk even though it was quite late. He didn't think much of it. The watchman didn't see him come back, but he figured he missed him when he went on his bathroom break probably. But the guy didn't show up at work the next day. Someone from work went to check up and he wasn't there. Nothing was disturbed. He was just gone. Everyone thought he had dropped dead, killed by thugs or an accident or some medical condition. The workplace filed a police report. Here's when it gets weird. It turns out, the guy had created a fake identity. Any credentials he had given were fake. The references he had given had never heard of him. The family address he'd given didn't exist. The police didn't find anything illegal in the apartment, but they didn't find anything that would give a clue as to who he was either. We moved away a few years ago, but I don't think the case was ever solved. It's definitely the best unexplained mystery that I've personally come across. Edit. To answer some questions. I don't live in the US and there's no concept of witness protection here that I know of. My father was a pathologist at a women's hospital in a very small town, and the guy worked as his technician. He definitely had some experience in the field before he joined. The job also wasn't a well-paid one, as many employees would quit quite frequently. Who is going to Long John Silver's enough to keep them around? The Alps murders. To this day, not only is there no suspect, but seemingly absolutely no motive to the murders of the Al-Hilli family and a completely unrelated French cyclist. The police don't even know who the target was. The more you look at the case, the more questions there are. The victims were killed in the manner of a professional hit, but using a gun that no professional would use. The gunman was experienced and calm enough to leave the scene quickly and efficiently. So much so that the cyclist on the scene minutes behind Mollier saw and heard absolutely nothing. The murders, though, were uncontrolled and carried out in broad daylight, where anybody could have chanced upon the scene. Indeed, had Saad not beached his car trying to escape, most of the victims may have survived. No suspect, no motive, no clear target. Weird mix of professional hit and complete novice. This case baffles me utterly. I dearly hope to see it solved one day. The lead mask mystery of Brazil. The bodies of two men found wearing lead masks covering their eyes with a notebook that mysteriously read, 4:30 p.m. be at the determined place. 6:30 p.m. swallow capsules. After effect. Protect metals. Wait for signal in Portuguese. Why did we all just globally decide that those blue Dutch cookie tins hold sewing supplies? Did D.B. Cooper survive or did he die? Who is Jack the Ripper? Who murdered Elizabeth Short? Who murdered JonBenet Ramsey?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.